So what's up, YouTube? This is your girl, Sunshine. So yes, my screen is blacked out because I'm not looking like I normally look. So I said I could just black this out. Anyway, the most important thing is not my face, okay? Today, the most important thing is the conversation that I bring, the knowledge that I bring, that I have to share. Yeah, so what in the world am I looking at on TV? I don't know what this is. Look like a ball, a gag ball for your mouth, but anyway. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about a couple different things. Um, I'm sorry, I'm distracted. Okay, turn TV off. All right, so now off. Okay, so a couple of things that was on my mind. Just a lot of stuff's been going on, so I kind of just pretty much want to have conversation about a lot of different things, like energy, for instance. That's my main thing. It's been on my mind for a while. Pharaoh, who I usually talk to, I haven't talked to in a while. I'm gonna have to reach out to him, and we're gonna have to come together, do a video or something sometime soon. But energy is everything. It's everything. On this journey, this quarantine journey, I've been trying to figure out what I can do to make money. Of course, there's a lot of things you could do to make money. You could sell a lot of different things. You can make a lot of different things. And I'm very creative when it comes to making things and crafting, stuff like that. I love doing stuff like that. But for me personally, I want to be a millionaire. I will be a millionaire. Okay? And I know that a lot of people think that I'm crazy. And because they don't know me personally, they're thinking, oh, because of where I'm at now, that it would never happen. But what I want to say to that is, you don't know me. You don't know my spirituality, how spiritual I am, what crafting I do. Because crafting can be used so many ways. It's all the same thing. What type of things I use far as crafting to reach that goal. So a while ago, probably about a month ago, I was in my home and I was just thinking about, I was meditating. I started off with me meditating. I was meditating at my makeshift altar because I don't have a permanent altar right now. I only have a makeshift one. I was meditating on that, doing a little yoga. Then I started a little meditation, and then I was just cleaning up or doing a little odds and ends around the house to keep the house organized and straight. And I went in my bathroom. I'm not sure why I was in there. Maybe straightening up something, cleaning something. And this voice came to me and asked me, will I do anything for money? Like as if, and I knew exactly what the voice meant when it said that, because it was like, I can't remember the exact words, and I really should have did a video right after that. And I know it sounds crazy to some, but let me build first, and then I can help you figure it out. But the voice said something like, and the voice seemed as of a darker energy. And if you don't know me, then let me tell you briefly that I do craft. I do work spells. I would not call myself a witch. I am not a witch. That is not me. I feel like anyone could do that. make spells all the time. When you spell, when you say certain words, when you curse someone, you're doing the same thing that any so-called witch or person of the craft would do. Because everything you say could possibly come true depending on the energy that goes behind it. And if you have a clear mind, and maybe if you open up that portal in your mind, or you open up that space in your mind where you can hear certain things, then you would understand exactly what I'm saying and know that it's not a mentally ill thing or anything like that. And I could definitely understand where you would get that from, or whoever would think that, why they would think that. I understand. It's not a common thing. It's not a common thing because a lot of people don't think for themselves. So, they have all this false information that they have in their mind, and they can't see anything past that. So I'm not there. I'm way past that. So anyway, I hear the voice, and the voice asks me, would you do anything to get the money? And I looked in the mirror because I must have been cleaning up or doing something, maybe straightening up my counter or wiping the counter down or something. And I was like, no. Then I thought about it, and I was like, a lot of people have fame and money. I definitely do not want fame. I only want the money. And I thought about it, and I was like, well, let me think about this real hard. And then I was like, no, I don't. Why? Why would I want that? I don't want stress. I want peace. I want positive, not negative. So if you're willing to do anything, it's a consequence to that. So you're never going to have, if you're willing to do anything for money, you're never going to have peace of mind because there's a consequence behind it. You're going to have to pay for what you say. It's just like when you speak certain words with deep energy behind it or dark energy behind it, cursing someone or saying something bad about someone and coming and really, really wanting that stuff to happen because you're over emotional or you're just evil yourself. Evil is a term that we're given. So I'm just use the terms that we're given because I don't feel like evil or demonic or the devil is a person. I feel like it's an energy. And just like you could be positive, you could be negative. Just like you could speak life into someone, you can also speak death into someone. It doesn't have to be an evil person that comes up next to you and say, oh, well, do this or do that. And there's a good person that comes beside you and say, do this or do that. It's the energy. So you can go either way with that. And if you have in your mind, because our minds are so strong, I can't even express to you, if you don't understand what I'm saying, how strong our minds are for us. If it's something you want, you have to believe it first, and then you speak it, and you think it, and then it will happen. And until it happens, you continue to believe it. Okay? And I'm saying this from experience. And I know a lot of people who are Christians and they'll say, oh, well, this or that happened because Jesus gave it to them, right? Well, I know a lot of this is true because I've thought it and I held on to it. And then I did the work because it's my thing. It didn't just fall out of the sky for me. So I know that works for me. The Jesus belief and everything, that didn't work for me. So I'm not a follower of the Christ. Okay? I'm not. I'm still a good person, whatever, believe it or not. It is what it is. Anyway, so the voice came to me and asked me that. And I was like, no, definitely no. Definitely no. And then I was thinking afterwards, like, I could prove to so many people that I can be. I You definitely have to watch out for your words, okay? That I will be this multimillionaire that I speak of all the time if I would have just said yes. But my whole thing has been I will have the money, but I do not never want it, never will want the fame part. And I don't want to have to knock someone down also to build me up or to build someone else up, to help build someone else up. I only want peace. I want peace for my household, peace for my family, peace of mind. So, and I know that a lot of people think that when it comes to dark energies like that, they think it's a person, they call it the devil. Whatever. We could call it the devil. I call it an energy. Energy is the devil, whatever. However you understand it, it is what it is. A lot of people do rituals. Rituals, they cast spells, they do spiritual work like that, and they can either conjure up dark spirits, dark energies for negative things, or they could do the opposite for positive. Me, I'm all positive. I might throw in a couple little. I'm not gonna go there, but just don't mess with me, okay? And I don't do anything, like I said, evil, but I might cast a spell on you to make you like me. And then you fall in love with me, and then you be like, wow, I like her. I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy. But anyway, so, but anyway, yeah, so that came to me. And it's been on my mind because I haven't spoken to anyone about it. And I keep thinking about, like, wondering if this happens to other people, if they hear this voice, if they've ever heard a voice like that before, because it's not often that I hear voices like that. It's only happened twice. And the first time I heard a voice like that, and it was very big and strong and loud in my head, and I had a whole, probably not even a whole minute conversation with the voice. I had a whole breakdown on purpose, a pity party on purpose, years ago, before all my spiritual journey. This is actually what got me there on my spiritual journey. But I was in my home, woke up that morning. I was feeling real sad because I wasn't with my children's dad. And I got my children up, got them ready for school, got them on the bus, got them out the house. And then I broke down because I was just sad about my situation, where I was at in life. You know how when you want to have a pity party, everything you could think of that's negative, you bring it up. So I was just like, why? That was my thing. Why? Like, I'm a good person. Why? And then I heard this voice, and this voice came to me strong. I mean, strong like thunder. That's the best way I can explain it. And told me that you will go through this pain, but in 2 years, everything will change. And I was like, I gotta hurt? And the voice said, yes. And I was like, why I gotta wait 2 years? And the voice was like, because I'm breaking down, the voice was like, in 2 years, everything would get better. And I was thinking, like, okay, so now I'm not crying anymore. And I'm on the floor. The living room I was in, my living room was dark, no TV on. I hadn't opened the blinds because I prepared for this pity party. Because long time ago, my mom used to say, if you're going to get sad or upset with yourself, or put yourself down, then have a pity party and move on, right? So I know now that when I get to that point, which I don't really, because because of all the knowledge I have now, I know I tell people, have a pity party and then move on. Okay? So that's what I did. Had a pity party. I planned for it. It happened. The voice said what it said. I got up. I opened the blinds. And I sat there on the couch like, what the fuck just happened? Okay? What was that? Most importantly, what's going to happen in 2 years? This is what I'm thinking. So, as life moved on, slowly, very slowly back then, because now I swear life is just going fast and fast. But as life was going on and moving slowly, in my opinion, I recognized a whole lot of stuff that it seemed like I was going through a whole bunch of different phases at this point that was lasting like for months at a time or longer, because when you learn something and you understand what it is that you need to learn, you always still have to live by that rule or guideline. So the first thing that I recognized that was going on in my life for me, because we all are different, so everyone goes through something different. I noticed I kept seeing 3. The number 3, 3 ones, 3 different things that were the same. And when I really noticed it, I kept seeing 3s, like 3 things that matched up, 3 things that were the same, just 3s. And I asked myself, dog, it took a long time for me to say something to myself, of course. And I was like, wow, why I keep saying 3s? Because I grew up as me and my sister are 10 years apart. So I pretty much could say things to myself to try to get understanding or clarity. I don't need a whole group of people to help me understand a lot of different things. But anyway, so I asked myself, like, dog, why I keep saying groups of 3, like 3s, stuff in 3s? When I noticed it, I had this candle holder that had these 3 pieces. These 4 pieces on the wall. And then I took it down. I took one down and made it 3. And that's when I was sitting there, like in my living room, and I realized, hold up, I keep saying things to 3, and then I moved that one candle holder that was on the wall. I moved that and made it a 3. Because when I looked at it on the wall, I was like, that's too many. I'm going to take one down. And then later on, I realized, like, I even made that 3 and didn't even notice what I was doing. I just thought it looked like it was too much on the wall, so I took one down. But it wasn't a matter of, instead of making it 4, I should make it 3. They were just big, and I thought it should just be smaller. But anyway, So that was just my first time of recognizing different things. Because I feel like in life, if you're open to see, then you will see. If you're open to hear, you will hear. You will. And a lot of people get it confused because they think it's a God or a Jesus. And it's an energy that's higher than us, possibly a spirit. And that spirit is guiding you to a place, but you have to listen. And like I said, there's evil and there's good. But you definitely got to have clarity of mind, okay? I don't know how else to say it, but to say it that way. So I recognized that first, and then I realized that I was going through a time of patience because months before that breakdown and that voice, I had a dream. And in the dream, I was in like a movie theater with no chairs. I was just standing there. It was dark. And on the screen, the big white screen, because it was dark in there, but it was a movie theater. It was red curtains on the side and the big screen in front of me. And the screen had on the screen in big bold letters, James. And I was thinking, James? What the hell does that mean? So this is like mind boggling to me. So I'm trying to figure out what this means, James. Like, I've never seen anything like this in a dream before. I've always been a dreamer and have like outlandish dreams, but a lot of times dreams that actually come true. So, of course, I can't get this out of my mind. I gotta figure out what James means because to me it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle, and I need to put the pieces together to get clarification. So, okay. So I'm like, James. My stepdad named James. I got a cousin named James. But I don't see how that will relate to me. So I read the book of James. And like the first part of the chapter talks about the power of the tongue. And I was like, ooh, you know what? At that time in my life, I would say whatever. Okay? I would start a fight if I had to. My mouth was just off the chain. So, at this time, I'm still a Christian. Okay? So, Spirit is speaking to me, and that's what happens. I saw James. I read the Bible. I start reading first chapter of James, and that's where it talks about the power of the tongue, and I automatically know. I close the book. I know exactly what Spirit is trying to tell me. Watch your mouth. That wasn't hard, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. All right, got it. I was like, all right, okay. Now I'm noticing something's going on, something's happening because I've never had a dream like that before. And then that happened, and I was like, okay, I got to change my tone. I got to change how I speak because speaking caused harmful things to happen. And they were because, like I said, my mouth was off the chain. I was saying anything, and it wasn't helping me, especially at that time. Young and dumb, that's what I was. So after that, then that's when I had to break down after that. And then I'm not even thinking about James anymore. 2 years go by. Nope. A year and some change go by. I realized that I needed to move from where I was living to where I'm at now, to my hometown, which is a different state. And I so didn't want it. I didn't want that. Of course, I was sad. I was depressed inside, but I try to, keep my head up. at the time because I have children and I didn't want them to be any sadder than they were, to have to leave their friends, their school, everything. Okay. So we leave, we get here to my hometown. My cousin James was getting married. So the weekend after his wedding, no, this is the same weekend of his wedding. The day of his wedding, I met a guy at his wedding named James. But I'm not thinking anything of the James from the dream. I hadn't even thought about that at this time. That didn't even cross my mind. So I'm like, okay, I'm just living in the moment because I'm sad, I'm upset, I gotta start over, I gotta figure things out. So I'm focused, right? Trying to get focused. So, me, him, and I was hopeful that, we could have a life together or whatever. After meeting him that weekend, it didn't work out. We talked a couple of times after that, and I realized I didn't like him. That wouldn't work out. Plus, he lived in Texas, so that was a long way from where I stayed. So I know I couldn't do no long distance relationship. But just to make a point, or just to state some facts, he was in a relationship with this girl named Katrina. That's my first name. And I thought that was weird. And we shared the birth month together. I thought that was super weird. And he told me that before I had even said anything. And I was just like, okay, what? That's weird. But anyway, so time went on. Possibly like a year had moved on after that. I'm settled. I have a home. Me and my children are happy. We're settled in. I have a good job. I'm working, have a new car. And I said, okay, it's time to get a man. So at the place I was working at, it's a lot of different people work there. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? I'm going to find somebody here, at least that I can have a friend, have someone to see. That's how I'm going to put it. Someone to see. So, and I said, okay, so what type of guy would I want? And I said, I don't want anything like what I used to have. I want the complete opposite. This is what I'm saying while I'm at work. So while I'm saying that, I'm thinking I want him to be a little bit older. I want him to be older than me. Of course, I'll always like older guys, but not too much older. Just maybe 4 or 5 years older. So I'm like, yeah, of course I want him to be tall. That was my thing at the time. Tall, dark, and handsome. That was my thing. And I meant that. Like, everyone who knows me knew that was my type. You know how you have a type. It is what it is. Whatever. So I said, that's what I want. And I want him to be older. I want him to be established. And I want him to... And it didn't necessarily have to come from someone... I didn't necessarily have to meet someone at the job with those qualities. But so many people work at the place I was working at. So it was easy to find someone like that there. Anyway, so I'm working and I see this guy and I said, I like him. That's who I want. I want him. So I worked my way over to where he was at and I spoke with him. I said hi. And he waved. And he kept working, and then he moved. He like walked away real fast. And I was like, dang, that was it? I was like, okay. So I took it easy. I was, in my mind, I thought I was playing the game with myself, and I said, I'm going to work on him. He'll be here. Because that was my first time seeing this man. My first time seeing him. I have never seen him at my job before. That was my first time seeing him. And I said, he'll be back. I know where he'll be at, so I know where to come tomorrow. So the next day, I see him, I speak. He didn't even say anything. He just kept walking. And I was like, what? Who he think he is? Not speaking to me. I don't want to make this video too long. But so I'm going to end it right here. And then I'm going to come back with part 2. So this is part 1. Yeah, so I'll be back.